Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Daybreak on Trust TV. All right, we'll be diving into our interactive session, a phone-in segment, where this morning we'll turn our attention to a debate that is fast becoming one of the most contentious issues in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, the proposal to ban the importation of refined petroleum products. Now, the conversation was reignited after Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the president of the Dangote Group, publicly called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to extend the federal government's Nigeria First policy to cover petrol, diesel, and other refined fuels. Now, speaking at a recent oil and gas conference in Abuja, Dangote warned that continued fuel importation is undermining Nigeria's refining capacity, driving away investors, and allowing the dumping of substandard fuel products, some of which he claimed would not be allowed in Europe or North America. Now, according to Dangote, his $20 billion refinery, which he says has already exported over 1 billion litres of petrol in just 50 days, has the capacity to meet Nigeria's local demand, where he argues that protecting domestic refining is critical for energy security, economic growth, and national pride. But that proposal has been strongly rejected by many oil marketers and industry experts. Now, they argue that banning imports at this time would hand Dangote a near total monopoly, stifle market competition, and possibly drive up fuel prices for consumers. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and the Petroleum Retail Outlet Owners Association have both warned that such a ban could destabilize the sector and hurt small businesses already struggling to stay afloat. Even energy experts say a ban could pose legal and economic risks. They warned that without diverse sources of supply, Nigeria could become overly dependent on one company, raising concerns about monopolistic control, pricing, and supply disruptions. So this morning on Daybreak, we're asking you, should the federal government ban fuel imports? Or is this move premature and potentially dangerous in a liberalized economy? As always, we want to hear from you because your voice matters. Make sure you call us in on the numbers displayed on your screen, or send us a WhatsApp message, because we want to hear your thoughts. Is banning fuel imports a bold economic policy or a backdoor to monopoly? Just of recent, there is the policy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to uphold, which is the Nigeria First policy, trying to ban anything that could be locally produced and sold as well, which in turn would help in strengthening Nigeria's economy and increase, I would believe, quality of products instead of importation. And with this proposal to ban the importation, that is throwing fear into marketers' hearts as well, due to the thought of a monopoly. All right, we have our first caller on the line. Hello, good morning. We have Shatima from Maiduguri. Good morning, Shatima.
Good morning, Hauwa. How are you this morning?
All right, thank you for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
Alhamdulillah, we thank God.
All right, that is great. All right, what is your take on this proposal by Aliko Dangote?
Well, this is a confusing topic, honestly speaking. Because if you look at it at the angle of Dangote, you can see that he has a statement to tell. And if you look at it at the angle of the independent marketers, our fear is, as they say, Dangote will manipulate the market, which is true. That's exactly what happened with with the fertilizer. Today, fertilizer became beyond the reach of the farmer. So what we are expecting, well, honestly speaking, is a thing that government have to think twice, if at all they want to bring sanity. And because you see, it is even a funny sometimes. We export what we have and we import what we have. So you see, it is even contradicting. But honestly speaking, if there is no competition and the sector will jeopardize, it will be in a serious problem. So what we are expecting is government should think further and make the sincere decision upon it. But we have been suffering on what is available in our land for a very long time. So we are hoping things will come better. And our thinking is if whatever decisions they take, they have to take a strict measure on it. If not, still we will find ourselves in a problem, and which we are praying for Allah not to put us in any hardship again. And our argument further is the refinery of Dangote have the capacity to produce up to the consumption of any population of Nigeria. That's what we will ask. Sometimes you see we have problems here in this country. Sometimes we bring artificial capacity. Sometimes they will touch some part of the machinery. They say the machinery is not working. So they will put people into unnecessary difficulties. But we are praying for Almighty Allah to choose a better decision for Nigeria, so that we say bye to this hardship of petroleum. Thank you so much and happy nice day.
All right, thank you very much, Shatima, for that contribution. As he said, it is kind of confusing due to the fact that on one end, we have Dangote, who has the capacity to produce enough petroleum or petroleum products, refined petroleum products for Nigeria, for Nigeria's consumption. But then on the other hand, a lot of marketers are scared. They have that fear that it would the market would be monopolized, and then that would give a tight and one-dimensional control on pricing when it comes to petrol as well. And aside from that, the marketers are doing their business, and then that would cut short, their business with exportation and importation as well, and that would change the dynamic of the market when it comes to it. But then at the end of the day, when you look at it, it should be a slow process due to the fact that, as aforementioned, that the NNPC is considering selling off some of their refineries. And with that, if they are privatized, then they would be, the issue of monopoly would be out the window. All right, we have our next caller. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Mr. Paul. I'm calling from Makurdi.
All right, good morning, Mr. Paul. How is Makurdi this morning?
Makurdi is good.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts. What is your opinion on this proposal?
Honestly, I'm just joining the program now. So I didn't listen to your preamble concerning the banning of foreign importation. I'm not aware of that. So I don't know if you can elaborate a bit so that I can know.
All right. We are talking about the proposal to ban the importation of refined petroleum products. And with the ban, due to, upholding Nigeria First policy that was suggested by Ali Dangote, a lot of, marketers are scared or have the fear that with Dangote proposing that, he has the capacity to produce, enough petroleum that it would be enough for the consumption of Nigerians. But then again, they're scared that he is the only one that is capable of doing that production. That would bring in monopoly when it comes to, the market as well. So what is your thought on that? Is it going to be a good thing for Nigeria or for the president to put a ban on the importation of refined petroleum, or will that, destabilize the market?
Yes, thank you very much. I got your question. Yes. Honestly, what is happening in Nigeria, I don't think this government that claimed they love us and that they are working for us are truly doing what they are supposed to do. Because if someone we import a fuel from outside the country, and we are going to get it cheaper for it to better our economy in Nigeria. I don't see any reason why the government should be placing ban on such importation. They are just trying to put Dangote everywhere that concerns Nigerian masses economically. Look at the issue of cement. Before the became only Dangote's affairs, how much were we buying cement in Nigeria? Now they are banning other importers from bringing fuel to Nigeria so that Nigerians can enjoy what we are supposed to enjoy. So definitely they are trying to receive from us that we are poor masses and give to the rich. That is what I view there. It's very bad if you don't help us. Last week I read on online news, Punch online news, concerning Dangote bringing 4,000 CNG trucks. I want to be supplying marketers across the Nigerians without pay transportation. He's just trying to force these other marketers out of the business. So it's a good move, but I don't think maybe it will help us for a long time. Because what I'm doing here, if we push all these marketers out of the business, then it will monopolize the supply of fuel in Nigeria. Then any amount you want to sell, nobody will challenge him. Only God will help us in this country. I don't think this government have our love in their heart. If they have our love in their heart, they should allow people that want to import them to do that. Before the Dangote refinery come on board, have we not been importing fuel? It is not that Israel is working, they start talking about one particular fuel is not good, another one is not good. But before now, it has never been the case. So if someone can import one, it should be an advantage to the Nigerians. Why are they stopping them? These people importing this fuel, so they are not foreigners. They are also indigenous of Nigeria. So why are we stopping them? If we want to be fair to ourselves, only God will take control, my sister. I don't have much to say for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for your contribution. With this proposal by Dangote to ban, the importation of refined petroleum products, his allegations are that Nigeria, or should I say, they're undermining Nigeria's refining capacity and driving away investors, as well as allowing the dumping of substandard fuel products, some of which he claimed would not be allowed in Europe and North America. And with that, we have to understand that Nigeria mined crude oil, and then it exports it to other countries for it to be refined. And after it is refined, it then is bought back and brought back to Nigeria, whereby, according to these allegations, there are products that are substandard. And with that, when it's brought into Nigeria and being used by Nigerians, first and foremost, your machinery would not last as much as it should last. And aside from that, the environment as well, the byproduct of that as well will affect the environment. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Hauwa Adamu.
Good morning, Nade. Thank you for calling. How are you doing this morning?
Fine. Sincerely, this is another wonderful topic. Very, very sweet topic. Very, very sensitive topic. The two callers, they spoke their mind, but my own is of a different dimension. Why I say mine is of a different dimension is that oil and gas sector needs total reform. Selling of refineries is one of the key factors that should be in the mind of Mr. President. And then banning of fuel import is something that needs to be done. Why am I saying this? Is this a good idea? Very, very good idea. I welcome it in totality. These people bring you substandard goods. They have knocked a lot of cars. I even remember my car when I was in Lagos. I had problem with my car. Because why? The fuel I bought was a very bad fuel. So why must we in this country continue to patronize bad things? When we say Taiwan is not good, China product is not good, Japan product is not good. Why must we encourage these independent marketers? We shouldn't encourage them. I vividly do remember that on this platform, I said, if the federal government cannot handle our refinery, they should sell it to Dangote. Yes, why? Because, yes, they are saying it will become monopolized. Why is it that government cannot handle it? Why is it that bribery and corruption is still going in there? Why is it that people that have not worked for several years, they are still being paid their salary? So and there are retired men that have not been paid, and people that are not working, they continue to earn money, and they are the ones stealing the money. They connect with these independent marketers. Sincerely speaking, let me tell you, they have spent over 3 billion in rehabilitating the refinery. These 3 billion can do what? Can, in fact, build several filling stations. Why are we deceiving ourselves? Why? The biggest substandard product that will knock your engine, knock my engine. Who will pay for that engine that has been knocked? My sister, I am of the opinion independent marketers should be kicked out even today, sir. Not only that, there is an issue that has been bothering me. Now, talk about this recruitment, online recruitment. Army did their own, police did their own, Air Force did their own. Do you know there's a scam going on there? There's serious bribery going on there. My sister, if we don't elect, if we don't recruit the best hand into our security system, what will happen? We'll continue to have issues with security. We'll continue to have issues with security. Nigerians should wake up. Nobody should collect money from those people that want to enter the military, the soldiers, the air force, the navy. Nobody should collect money from people that want to enter the civil defense, federal medical center. Federal government should create an institution where they will checkmate all these abnormalities. However, why would somebody go and sell their land? A boy just sold his property now, his father's property, 1.5 million. How does he think they will take it? However, even Nigeria, we must wake up from our slumber. We must rethink and do the right thing. Thank you, Hauwa, this morning. Thank you, Trust TV.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Take you to the height.
Thank you so much, Abasinko. Thank you so much.
God bless Nigeria. All
right, thank you so much, Abasinko, for that contribution. Well, as he said, he is for, banning the importation of refined petroleum products because, as he mentioned, it is Nigeria first. We have to look out for the country, and when it comes to selling products or petrol that is substandard. And he mentioned that there was a particular point where he bought petrol and it affected his car as well. And I know there are lots of people that have had those kind of experiences. But then this question still stands. Is that the best for Nigeria, banning the importation of refined petroleum products? All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Daniel, calling from Jalingo.
All right, thank you for calling us. What is your take on this issue?
Yes, before I learn on this, please, just a minute. I want to digress a little bit with the topic of yesterday. Please.
Well, that will be...
Please allow me. I want to give a simple information, please. They should please, federal government should know that the road linking the northeast states and the south-south states, the bridge at Namnai up to today, what they are waiting for has happened. People have lost their life there. So this is what, since last year, the bridge has collapsed. Last week, we lost some lives there. So please, it should now come. This is what the federal government are waiting for. Let me stop here. Then, secondly, on the idea whether good or bad for banning of fuel importation, I don't have to say much. That is a very, very bad idea. If they are banning for what? They are banning for substandard product. It's whose fault that substandard products are coming to the country? It's at whose fault? It has those are in charge. The same people that are banning is their fault. If our security agencies and our system is functioning very well, I don't think substandard goods will step into this country. It's not okay. Will you tell me that you ban even? We have just said on fake drugs, importation of fake drugs that is happening in this country. It's the same thing. So it's for the government to step up in checkmating those things. It's not banning that. Even in the country, they can even produce fake fuel. We have all these illegal refinery around. They will still produce fuel. So the best thing that I'm trying to bring out here is that the federal government should step up in checkmating this thing. It's not banning of it that we even stop it. We know Nigerians what they can do. Nigerians can do with extra mind. Somebody can sit down in his own room and produce fuel. It happens. It happens. So it's not banning. They should step up from the system and work what they are supposed to do. So please, Namne Bridge, we are still calling for federal government before another life will be lost again. Since last year up to today, go and see that place now. It's as if it's another border. I see people are moving from one country to another. Please, they should come to our aid. It's the only road that links the south states and the northeast states presently. So life has been gone in that place. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that. As he mentioned, that it would be a bad idea because it will remove the diversity that we have in that market. But then again, as he still mentioned, there should be some regulatory body that makes sure that any refined petroleum product that is coming to the country is properly tested and seen that it is of standard for Nigerians. And with that, it would control, any substandard products coming into the country. And avert from the monopolistic market, even though Dangote has mentioned that he is able to provide for petroleum needs of Nigerians. But then when you look at it, the marketers, the independent petroleum marketers are kicking against it due to the fact that that would kick them out of business for one, and it would only be a singular entity that would be in control of everything with production, with distribution, with pricing as well when it comes to refined petroleum products. And when you look at that, their fear is actually valid when it comes to having a smooth and growing economy. But then when you look at it at another angle, is it possible for Nigeria to be able to, produce all its needs here in the country and, have a diversity as well when it comes to having refineries, especially when NNPC is getting ready to sell off some of its refineries? Would it be a good idea for other entities to, acquire those refineries and make it a diverse market aside from having Dangote as the only producer of refined petroleum products? All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Daybreak and I'm calling from Usoka.
All right, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your take on this issue?
Well, it's rather unfortunate that Daybreak will be coming for a suspension of importation of fuel. And it's also a sad comment that we have about 3 refineries in the country that are yet to be put into use. You see, Nigeria is one funny country. Before now, we're not talking about the importation of fuel because we have these crude oil here. We find them here in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, and simultaneously. All of a sudden, the government has grounded these refineries. Year in, year out, we talk about turnaround maintenance of these refineries that cost, millions of dollars to no effect. And now Dangote that has just come on board barely 1 year is talking about suspension of the importation of so that they will have a monopoly of the fuel industry, which is really sad. I mean, sometimes when we reflect on happenings in this country, we begin to wonder, whether some of our leaders fell from the moon, or are they still human beings like other leaders we see in other climes? How can a country as big as Nigeria not be able to manage its refinery? Not like the Dokuta complex that has been gulping money year in, year out, without anything to show for it. As it is now, I think the only option, they've thrown the oil market open. So anybody who can import should import. What we should be looking at the standardization of the petroleum products that are getting into the country. Unfortunately, some of our institutions are compromised, like the Standard Organization of Nigeria, like whichever other institutions that are charged with making sure that products that come into this country are not substandard. If they live up to their billing, you shouldn't be talking about fake fuel that we've had in the past, or standard fuel that keeps knocking people's engines and all that. So it's neither here nor there, really, my sister. But the truth of the matter is that we need to have fuel, and we need to have this fuel at a price that doesn't tear people's pockets. So many people have had to sell off their cars because they can't afford the cost of fuel. But I know if there is competition and people can import this fuel from wherever, it will bring down the cost of fuel and make it readily available. And we avoid all these long queues. Year in, year out, about the fuel scarcity, about speculation of prices and all that. So it is not a good call at all for him to say at this moment that he should not import fuel. He should import fuel. If we import fuel, if importation makes it cheaper for the people, why not? But then the big issue should be, why has it been impossible for Nigeria or NPC to maintain our refinery so that we can refine this fuel and petroleum products and sell it at a cheaper rate in this country? What is the myth? Why is it in your eyes that able to put our refineries to use? So it is government inability to take up the gauntlet and to make sure that policies and programs they demonstrate at the credit of the masses. So I think that is one thing. We need to strengthen our institutions to make sure that we get the best out of governance. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. He made note that with the banning of importation, it will bring in monopoly. But then at the end of the day, when you look at it and a history, you would see that Dangote's petroleum has been lower in price when it comes to other petroleum products or petrol imported from other countries by other marketers. And when you look at that, you would see that discrepancy, and maybe because it is refined in-house in the country, that would make it at a lower price. And all right, let us look at the WhatsApp messages that we have for today. The first one that we have is from Nandi Bete. And they said, with due respect, our leaders have always placed the cart before the horse in making policies. One had expected a total refurbishing of the local refineries to optimum production capacity before removing subsidy, after which this importation of ban on fuel imports would have come into place. For now, since our local refineries are still comatose, is this ban meant to stabilize the Dangote fuel business or what? All right, Nandi Bete made a point saying that we don't plan, or the government doesn't plan before implementing policies, making sure that each and every card is right when it comes to making sure that these policies work, especially when you are trying to ban the importation of products, whether it be petroleum, whether it be other things that can be produced in Nigeria. But then again, you have to look at it and ask yourself, are they functioning industries, are they functioning refineries that would take up for that, ban the lack of products being imported in the country? Well, that is the question. All right, moving on, we have another WhatsApp message. The next message is from Henry, and he says, good morning. I don't think banning fuel import is a good idea. Nigerians are very greedy. They never do anything in the interest of the masses. We can't trust them. It is always to satisfy their interest. Banning imports will lead to monopoly of the market and not in the interest of Nigerians. All right, that was from Henry. Thank you very much, Henry, for that contribution. Well, it is only right for any Nigerian, for anybody to have that fear of monopoly, due to the fact that Nigerians are used to things being done not in their benefit, not in their favor. But then when you look at another perspective, you would see that maybe they're doing it for the greater good, making sure that, the cost of production is low. That in itself would translate to, low prices when it comes to refined petroleum products. All right, next up, we have another message from Ugesi Sati from Benue State. He said Dangote is only trying to monopolize the whole country. If fuel importation is banned, the fuel will rise to a point a poor man will not afford to buy it again. Take a look at the issues of cement. How many times National Assembly called him and he did not honor. We know his policy. All right. He's saying that he has a track record of, monopolizing and increasing prices where it makes it harder, to control the price first and foremost, and harder on Nigerians as well when it comes to, things being expensive. All right, next up, we have another message. He said, I don't understand what this APC government is planning for the Nigerian citizens. People can hardly feed now because of the hike in petroleum products. And one Shylock businessman talk about a ban on the importation of the product. Dangote is a businessman and naturally wants to be the sole monopoly in the market. The question should be, does he have the capacity to produce enough petrol to serve the people? He monopolized the sale of cement, sugar, flour, etc., and the masses are suffering. Does he want to own the country? Before his refinery came on board, we were not buying fuel and people were surviving. If they want to ban anything, let the government allow private businessmen to own refineries across Nigeria to create a healthy competition and bring down the price of fuel. All right, that is another take when it comes to it. Earlier, we mentioned that Dangote said his $20 billion refinery is capable of serving the whole of Nigeria, all of its need when it comes to refined petroleum products. But then at the end of the day, what you mentioned, it is only right for the federal government to allow other people to, have or own refineries, working and functioning refineries, and making sure that the market is diverse so that we do not have, a restriction when it comes to pricing, as the everyday Nigerian is complaining of how expensive it is to purchase refined petroleum products. I believe that would aid in making sure that everyone is happy when it comes to the business and everyone is happy when it comes to the everyday Nigerian. All right, that is all we have for this segment. Thank you very much for calling in, for all your contributions. It does matter. We'll be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll be diving into our next segment. We'll be discussing, the recent devastations when it comes to floods and everything in between. We'll be right back.